Hey guys, it's Jason from Coastal Asbestos here, the Gold Coast's #1 asbestos removal company. And today we're going to talk about the importance of getting asbestos reports, specific asbestos building reports. Now, as we spoke in our last video, a lot of building inspectors and these guys, they may not realise, or they may realise that they do not have professional indemnity insurance to cover them for asbestos. So they will sort of talk around it. They might say, it's like when you buy a Mars bar and it say it may contain nuts. They're not going to say it's in there. They're not going to say it's not in there. They're just going to say, hey, guess what? And that means because they're trying to cover themselves, but it's not good enough. Because the only reason why you want an asbestos report or a building report, that asbestos component, is because you want to know what you're getting into. You want to avoid buying an asbestos money pit. And you know, that's why most people get building and pest reports, to find out why. So when you engage someone to do an inspection on your property, go straight to ask them for their insurances and go straight to the exclusions. Now, the reason why a lot of them don't have professional indemnity insurance for asbestos is because it's really dear. You know, I think ours starts at about $9,000. And, you know, some people aren't comfortable with that. They might feel that they don't have enough expertise in that, so they're better off just staying out of it. You know, the best building inspectors always recommend you get a pest inspection, a building inspection, an electrical, a plumbing, and an asbestos one, you know, because it's just, in this world, we have specialty areas. Some people have a single focus, and that makes them amazing at what they do. And trying to be everything to everybody, it just doesn't work sometimes. You know, this might be the biggest investment you're ever going to make in your life. A couple of $100 for an extra couple of tests or an extra couple of reports, specialty reports. I'd be suggesting, if you don't have $1,000 for inspections on all those areas combined, why should you spend a couple of $100,000 or $1 million on a house if you're not prepared to spend $1,000 to find out as much as you possibly can about the structure? Because like we said before, insurance people, tradespeople, even real estate agents, you know, like they're not insured for asbestos. So your local real estate agent, he's going to skirt around it. It's not his thing. He might make some sort of casual comments, but he's not your guy that you would go to for advice about asbestos in your property. You know, he's in it to sell the house. He's in it to make a sale. You know, and they may not know. They might not spend the time with you to understand if you've got problems with asbestos, if there's history of asbestos in your home. And you know what? It's not really part of their training. That's why you have experts like us. So some of the things that can be avoided on having asbestos specialty audits and registers. So registers in commercial property are mandatory. Asbestos was banned for use in 1985 in the building construction industry, but it wasn't banned to 2005 in Australia. So where the separation comes from, if you've got a big commercial property, if it's got lifts in it, there could be some asbestos brake pads in those lifts, because that's the safety thing. Usually lifts, they're stopped by the motors and they have asbestos brake pads. If back in the old days, if anyone can remember, back in the power strikes, a lot of buildings put in generators. Those generators have got asbestos components in them. You know, when that changed, when they were banning the use of asbestos in Australia, stuff was still sneaking in. I've just heard a report this week of a heap of batch of some of the ingredients to make gyprock has come in from overseas, and it's all got asbestos in it. You will see every day in the news asbestos products coming into Australia. Okay, guys like me, I sit there, I watch those product alerts. I know where they are. I know what to look for. I know what those products are. The other advantage of getting an asbestos specific report is people like me have spent years and years and years tearing buildings apart with our bare hands. We've gone into buildings and done full strip outs. We've carefully removed the asbestos, and you would be surprised how many places asbestos can be found in the family home. We have an 85-point checklist, 85 different places to look in a 3 or 4 bedroom house to find whether there's asbestos in it or not. I cannot stress the importance of getting asbestos-specific reports for buildings. Now, pardon me, so what are you going to get? So you will get a full colour report with pictures that are big enough to see. A lot of people do these little postage stamp things, you can't even see it. A description of what size, so 10 square metres, 20 square metres, the location, this is the eaves on the house, and then the condition. And we might say no action required, everything's okay. Then there might be a picture of a section of the eave or a section of the wall that's close up and say, look, this is cracked, it needs to be encapsulated, it might need to be removed. Maybe this has gone friable. We've seen eave sheetings that have sort of merged from non-friable to friable because of the environment's acted on them. Fences, roofs, all these common areas, and we can give you a really detailed, informative and easy to read document that will make you fully aware of your risk of asbestos in buying the home. Now, don't forget testing. The only way to know 100% is to have samples tested. And the only way to know that your samples that are being tested are credible is in an NATA laboratory. And we'll talk a bit about that later. So experienced people that have a singular focus are the best people to do reports. Guys who have been in the field and actually removed asbestos and lived in those houses and pulled them apart know where to find the asbestos, the nooks and crannies that it is lurking. Knowing whether you've got friable or non-friable asbestos is huge. The prices can range from like $50 a square metre right up to $1,000 a square metre. Now, you're going to want to know that. There's two things at play here. Number one, you don't want to buy an asbestos death trap that has hazardous asbestos everywhere. And number two, you don't want to buy an asbestos money pit. So smart purchasers, smart homeowners, especially if you're going to do a renovation, get us in. The amount of times we get called halfway through a renovation and someone's gone, oh, we didn't know that wall was asbestos. And it's too late. The fibres are already through the house, contamination start, and we have to start from scratch. It costs twice as much to clean that mess up as it would have at the start. I cannot stress the importance of getting asbestos-specific pre-purchase, pre-reno, pre-demo, like basically check it before anything happens. And that's me, Jason from Coastal Asbestos. If you like this video, there's plenty more at our YouTube channel, Coastal Asbestos Removal. Thanks, guys. See ya.